Never signed up. I don't think I signed up. Period, because I thought I was going to be there in person, period. My fault, period.
Thanks. Morning, everybody. Welcome to today's meeting of the Kane County Energy and Environmental Committee. Would the SAO please come to order? Excuse me, I'm starting the meeting now. Oh, thank you.
You have your mic on?
Yeah, I do. I've got everything on evidently. Wait a second. Okay. Hi, everybody. Definitely. Welcome to today's meeting of the Energy and Environmental Committee. Today's date is what the heck? Friday,
The 20th.
2026. I'm still Mavis Bates, and you are still the Energy and Environmental Committee. So let's get started with call to order and roll call, please.
Okay. Allen,
I'm present.
Caius,
Caius present.
Genesis, Strathman, Young,
Here.
Tarver,
Harvey's here.
Bates. You have a
Here.
quorum?
Thank you very much. Why isn't this bigger? Okay, let me try that. May I have someone suggest that we approve the minute?
Madam Chair, this is Caius. I would ask for unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes from.
Point of order. There was a remote attendance request.
I'm sorry. I thought I took a liberty. Excuse me, Mr. Young.
Okay, thank you.
I would ask for
What
unanimous consent
remote
for the.
attendance request do we have? Young, Mr. Young has requested remote attendance privileges. Do I have your consent? Okay, thank you very
Absolutely.
much. May I have someone suggest we approve the minutes?
And I do apologize to you, Mr. Young, for that. This is Caius. I would ask for unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes from January 16th, 2026.
Do we have consent? Okay, thank you very much. Public comment. We have one person for public comment. Mr. Young, I believe you have signed up for public comment.
Okay, thank you. David Young. In the U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment provides that Congress shall make no laws abridging the freedom of speech. The phrase abridging the freedom of speech means the government is prohibited from punishing or censoring individuals for what they say. This clause applies to federal, state, and local governments like the Kane County Board. First Amendment retaliation refers to adverse actions taken by a government official in response to an individual's exercise for their First Amendment rights. To demonstrate First Amendment retaliation, an individual must show the following. 1, they have engaged in expression protected by the First Amendment. 2, a government official took adverse action against the individual. 3, the individual's protected expression motivated the official to take adverse action. Mavis Bates has committed First Amendment retaliation. Courts have repeatedly held that the state and local governments cannot retaliate against protected speech, suppress speech based on viewpoint, use government authority to silence critics, or coerce third parties into helping suppress speech. 42 USC Section 1983 is a federal civil rights statute that allows individuals to sue state or local government officials for violating their constitutional rights. Possible remedies from a civil lawsuit include the following. One, monetary damages. The government official can be ordered to pay damages to compensate the victim for emotional distress, reputational harm, chilling of speech, financial losses, ongoing harm caused by retaliation or suppression, violation of constitutional rights. Civil rights damages often exceed tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending upon severity. Punitive damages can be substantial if the government official's conduct was malicious or reckless or willful or intended to suppress or punish constitutional rights. These damages can be substantial. And then, of course, you have attorney's fees and litigation expenses and court costs. So when you decide to make an effort and have a call to action through your county email, you could suffer severe consequences. Thank you.
Let's move on to the agenda, please. Environmental, Jody Wolnick, please, Ms. Wolnick.
I understand we have some representatives from the Conservation Foundation to present the Thomas Weisner Memorial Award.
Who's getting that?
Who could it possibly be? Okay, Jessica, let's see, should we do it down there?
Did you want to say something? Oh, yeah. Can she say something at the mic?
Yes, feel free to come over though, Mavis. Yeah. Into it, great. All right. I am here with the Conservation Foundation. We're a local land, water, and community conservation organization. And here today to present one of our key awards to Mavis Bates, the Tom Weisner Memorial Award. And this award is given out to a elected official, a local elected official that has really impacted our conservation locally and done extensive work and representation for conservation and environmental action locally in Tom Weisner's name. And this year, the Conservation Foundation was proud to present that award to Mavis Bates. Many of you know Mavis's extensive work in the area, but I'll touch on that a little bit here. So you can look at Mavis's work locally where she lives in Aurora, starting the Aurora Green Fest many years ago. That was in partnership with the Conservation Foundation, and Mavis has always been an incredible partner on that and really driven the entire work really through her chair as the chair of the Sierra Club Valley of the Fox. And then even to the regional and county level, chairing this environmental energy and environmental committee, as well as the solar array that was put in, the climate action plan that is both supported and driven by Mavis extensively. And she continues to really speak up for conservation and do her part as an elected official. And we're very grateful for all of Mavis's work over decades, really, of being committed to this and a healthy environment for the people who live, work, recreate, enjoy their time here in Kane County. So thank you very much to Mavis Bates, and we are very excited to present you with this award. in it as well.
I think.
Did that to Heber Yard last night. In the Heber Yard,
Yeah. Wait, the Conservation Foundation?
yeah.
Okay.
I told them they better take a picture of that.
Thank you, Dawn.
I'll do something.
Not with Daniel.
Got it. Perfect. All right, thanks.
Victory Garden.
This is the real award is the jacket.
Right.
So they-
Slab, yeah, that's the garden. This is the garden for the, yeah, this is. Yeah.
So I don't ever find it.
That, and then
The Masters, you get the green jacket.
I went to this.
Jessica, did you have any trouble finding your way here? That's a joke. So Jessica used to sit in Sarah's seat. In fact,
Maybe you can talk.
thank you for that.
Well, yeah,
Moving right along, Ms. Wolnick.
that's why.
Thank you. I'll give Blair a second to bring up the slide presentation that's in the packet, Blair. Just a quick update. We don't have any further information on the Fabian property, the Phase 2 environmental assessment. We are working with Roger Fonstock to get some proposals to do that assessment of both the bermed area where the explosives were detonated, as well as the gun range that was out at the old jail site. So I will continue to update this committee each month as we receive additional information on those proposals that are being obtained by building management. Today I have in front of you a presentation of an overview of single-family home energy audits. Our department has, over the last 20 years, had a unique opportunity through both our cost share drainage program in connection with the community development block grant funding to work with also the health department on the Get the Lead Out program to see many of our low to moderate income housing stock throughout the county. And we do have an aging housing stock specifically related to the low to moderate income housing. And what we wanted to do when we're looking at energy home audits is to prioritize high quality audits that look at all aspects of a single family home and ensure that when we're looking at those homes, we're not missing anything. So today I want to just provide some background and educate the committee on the background of home energy audits, the regulations that apply to home energy audits, and really go into some significant detail about what aspects of a home are looked at through an energy audit program. So energy audits need to be compliant with the federal definition as it's included in the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, as well as the 2025 Big Beautiful Bill. The IRS tax credits are defined within those bills, and they provide the guidelines and definitions, as well as the certifications that are required for any home energy auditor. I provided a link here for the committee. That link goes to both the definitions as well as the certifications for the program. I think the best resource out there, and it is an extensive guideline on home energy audits that comply with these requirements, is through the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Again, it is very extensive and something that we want to provide an overview today, but the resource is there for your information as we go forward with the energy audit plans for the county. That does provide a great document of resource of what is all included in a compliant energy audit. So today we're just going to pick on one of those compliant programs, the Building Performance Institute. And the reason I picked this one specifically is this is the standard by which HUD does evaluate their low to income moderate housing throughout the county or throughout the country. And so this was a good resource for us to use because our programs are focused on the low to moderate income housing stock. So this provides a comprehensive list on how energy audits are to be provided for single family homes, as well as the standards for whole building assessment. And when we're talking about a home energy audit, a lot of times your brain does go to the sustainability and energy side of things. But a true energy audit is looking at the building durability, the occupant comfort, and as well as health and safety.
So it's not just light bulbs.
Correct. So the Building Institute audit, this is an overview of the various sections and what is required through that program. So first, you're looking to interview the homeowner, identify the concerns within the home. You're also going to disclose immediately to the homeowner any suspected urgent emergency or health and safety hazards within the home. The homeowner is going to be educated as well on the operation of their appliances and HVAC equipment to maximize the performance of both. As in addition, a written report is required of the home energy auditor that includes all the diagnostic testing, the visual sensory inspections, a summary of the testing, information on energy programs, incentives, regulations, as well as energy costs and relative to prioritized recommendations for improving the home, a baseline energy use for the home, information about user control changes that could change the energy consumption, information about water efficiency and conservation strategies, health and safety measures for the home, and a comprehensive set of energy efficiency measures. So we're going to drill down a little bit more in detail on each of these sectors, so we have a better view of what is involved in evaluating each section as required by the home energy audit. First, we're going to look at health and safety, and this being a very key item when we're looking at our aging low to moderate income housing stock. There are a lot of health and safety issues that the homeowner might not be aware of that we need to be pointing out to them first, because while it's great to put another 12 inches of insulation in your attic, if you have a health and safety issue in the home, that should be prioritized first. So first, the evaluator is going to look at the combustion air requirements and require a test of the combustion requirements that of any of the appliances within the home. That would include hot water heaters, the HVAC systems, as well as any other appliances that are combusting air. There would be evaluation of the ventilation needs, ensuring that there's sufficient air for the combustion as well as for the health of the home. There'll be identification of any potential moisture issues. We'll go into a little bit more detail on another slide on that, as well as identifying suspected hazardous materials, including lead, asbestos, and mold. There'll be a visual inspection for knob and tube wiring, identification of electric hazards, the evaluation of the smoke and carbon monoxide detectors within the home, as well as a report that includes clear and accurate information on the health and safety improvements, as well as the use of cost-benefit upgrades. When we're looking at cost benefit analysis, that is one of the key components of a energy efficient home, as well as looking at the upgrades and when the payback period will be, especially when we're looking at residents that have limited ability to fund these, is really drilling down on getting the biggest bang for the buck to provide the health and safety of the home, as well as potential energy savings for the home, and ensuring that those energy savings and efficiency measures are implemented efficiently and effectively such that the homeowner is going to see reductions in their energy bills. The energy auditor will analyze and present in terms of fuel usage, reduced energy cost, fractional performance, as well as using the home energy score rating to prioritize the various options for the home. They'll include savings in the base load, heating, cooling, and total house consumption, as well as audit. The audit will include the homeowner's goals and limitations for upgrades. And so when we're talking about homeowners' goals, many times what we'll hear is a room is too hot, a room is too cold. And it really evolves from a comfort level within the home. And so that will also be taken into account when the cost benefit and prioritization is included. And also, as I mentioned again, this health and safety issue is overall going to be prioritized over the energy efficiency and comfort. So drilling down again onto the combustion appliances and fuel distribution, just looking at the various components that will be evaluated through a certified home energy audit program. Again, with the health and safety being number one, they will be inspecting the air for carbon monoxide as well as combustible gas. The natural gas system within the home will be tested for leakage. They will also be inspecting the combustion venting for damages, leaks, disconnections, inadequate slope, or other safety hazards. We're also talking about just the plain storage of combustible materials next to the HVAC system and other combustible components within the home, just as simple as storing cardboard boxes next to that equipment. That kind of detail and identification may be a safety hazard that the resident hasn't thought about. We're also going to verify that sufficient combustion air is available for the equipment and perform CO2 and spillage testing on all appliances, CO2 measurement of all direct vents and power vented appliances, as well as testing gas ovens and unvented appliances for CO2. And in
CO.
I'm sorry, CO, carbon monoxide, of course. And the inspection of solid fuel burning appliances for safe operations. This would be your wood stoves or your fireplaces. The next item is the indoor quality and ventilation section. That includes identifying any kind of indoor sources of air pollutants, pathways for pollutants to enter conditioned spaces of the home. This might be open containers of chemicals or something on an adjacent attached garage, and improper sealing of the garage space from the living space. There'll be evaluation of mechanical ventilation and closed dryer vents, and evaluation of ventilation systems within the dwelling and ventilation needs. Moisture control is another key item we see often in our aging home infrastructure. This would be exterior water intrusion due to roof leaks, foundation leaks, and groundwater. Also, your internal plumbing leaks, leaks underneath the sink, leaks that are causing damage to drywall and insulation. Water damage on the buildings, such as structural mold, mildew, and stains. The identification of vapor retarders, flashing gutters, and other moisture control strategies, and the evaluation of dehumidifiers. The building enclosure is also looked at. This will include evaluating the envelope insulation level and performance, at the air leakage of the building via a blower door test, evaluation of festation, performance and fit, and the evaluation of any energy savings that could be gained from shading or solar reflectance. Heating, cooling, and domestic water. I mentioned some of these previously, but again, evaluating those heating and cooling appliances for operation, condition, and efficiency. Also, the distribution system from those appliances, ensuring that there's proper venting and control for the residents for their comfort levels. Evaluating the water heating appliance for operation, condition, and efficiency, as well as the heating distribution system. For base load energy efficiency, we're looking at the refrigerator and freezer energy consumption, evaluating the light fixtures and efficiencies for controls, inspecting dryer vents for restrictions, as well as the efficiency of any other major base load energy consuming devices in the home. So let's look a little bit at the timeframes for completing a IRS certified energy audit. The blower door test does take between 1 and 1.5 hours to complete. The air leakage and air insulation evaluation, 1 to 2 hours. The health, safety, and home on-site evaluation, 1 to 2 hours. As-built data for the home, that's going to vary quite a bit. If you've got a newer home, the plans are usually available through your building department, or the homeowner might have copies of those plans. But on our older homes, oftentimes the as-built for the home needs to be delineated by the home energy auditor, which means going around and measuring openings and room sizes. So it can take up to 4 hours if you've got a complex structure that needs evaluating. The energy model for the home, luckily I had my own example for this one. So verifying the data of 4 to 8 hours, mine was actually 6.5 hours that it took to complete the energy home model. And then just the completion of the report that meets all the standards is about 4 to 6 hours. So I wanted to provide some additional resources for the board in regards to home energy audits. A field guide I've attached as well here. So you can kind of walk through the various steps that I just outlined on how a certified energy auditor would go through a home and every item that they need to complete to meet the compliance standards. There's also a sample report here from a company on the East Coast. Wanted to use something that wasn't necessarily from Illinois here to give an example of a report that does meet those BPI requirements. And then I've just attached, again, for your information, kind of a walking guide that an energy auditor would go through. So you can see the level of detail that's involved in doing one of these energy audits. And lastly, the Department of Energy provides some guidance on how to perform energy audits, meeting those IRS guidelines and certifications, another resource for the committee.
And how to find a consultant.
And how to find a consultant. Thank you. Thank you, Mavis. Catching everything I missed. So what are the next steps here? This is kind of some background information for everybody on home energy audits. And when we're looking at various programs through the county, what we're looking for is to prioritize high quality audits and provide the homeowners with sufficient detail on their home's safety, comfort level, as well as a detailed review of their structures to ensure that we're not recommending things that that miss safety and other more important items before we go to the energy side of things, but also making sure we're evaluating the house as a whole. So next steps would be to do a detailed review of the various levels of energy audits that are offered. Some of them that were mentioned by the board were ComEd, NICOR, and some various HVAC companies, and compare how those audits look in regards to meeting the IRS standards for energy audits. So the committee can tell when they're looking at the various different types of what folks are calling energy audits, how they are and aren't compliant with the IRS standards. We also want to provide the committee with some data supporting the importance of meeting those requirements and the importance of doing a professional certified energy audit. And then lastly, if it makes sense in March and we have all that data, it's going to take a little bit to compile all of it. But if we have all that data for March, what we would like to do is revise the resolution that went to board last Tuesday and only include the energy audit costs in that, because I know there was some confusion about the rebates versus the cost versus the software. So welcome any comments. Certainly, if you have any other questions or concerns, feel free to get a hold of myself or one of our staff here, because we'd like to try to address all the items ahead of time before we come back with any kind of revised resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Womack. Questions, comments? Mr. Caius, please.
Just very thorough. Thank you.
Ms. Allen?
I think, this is Alan. I think what we ran into when we started trying to introduce this to the full board was the problem that most of us are not going to get into these weeds. So we are doing this kind of overview and we're saying, well, we've got $100,000 to spend and how should we do it? And I think the simplest one that I heard thrown out was, well, let's give 25 families $4,000. Then they can take the $4,000 and actually do stuff to their home. But that raises the question, who oversees this? I mean, even the most conservative of us who would like to give the $4,000 to a home is going to want to have some kind of feedback on how the money was spent and if it was spent properly. We're not qualified to do that. And I'm going to guess most homeowners aren't. So somewhere in here, we need to have a professional and an administration team who sees the money is spent wisely. I guess I felt the board was missing nuance. Do we want to climb into this? Do we want to try and help our citizens? Can we reach out to some of them and help them? And it was interesting yesterday in ag that when they were doing, when staff was doing data collection on some of the ag programs, a huge number, like 75%, said they never would have gone looking. They were approached by someone who said, could this be good for you? And they went, oh yeah, but they didn't go looking for it. Mm-hmm. So some of this is, do we want to spend some of our money on outreach? Do we want to spend some of our money on making sure it's done well? Do we want to spend some of our money on helping people who would otherwise never know about it? So those are some of the things I think that we're asking staff to address here as we spend our $100,000.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other, Mr. Pensis?
Yeah, to back up what Deb was saying at the last meeting where this was brought up, I don't think anyone had any idea the time involved of doing these audits, and that was a good explanation of what it's going to take to get this done. Can't do that for $100. I mean, we're talking 2 days in some cases to get this whole audit. If you're going to be doing the full audit of each of the individual factors, we're talking over 2 days of what this is going to take. So I think the cost, and like you mentioned too, Deb, I mean, we have to oversee this money and how this money is being spent. And this is a good way to make sure that we're taking care of citizens who need it, those who are in need, making sure that they're safe, health and safety, that's why we're here. So I think this is a great program, and, the benefits of this into the future, if we decide to carry this out ourselves in the future, I think it's a win-win. So I'm all for this.
Thanks. Any other comments?
Actually,
Oh, sure, Mr. Caius.
part of the confusion, I think, arose from someone who has actually investigated it online via Google. I believe they stated it that way. And so I asked Google just how accurate the kind of information they get from inquiries. In the AI overviews, these summaries are designed for convenience. They can present outdated information, hallucinations, or overgeneralized claims. Sometimes they rely on consensus rather than factual accuracy. This means a popular incorrect answer might be displayed over a correct but less common one. So I think the thoroughness of what you guys are going through right now speaks to how important it is to have professionals do this. If you do another search, a research in 2024 showed an increase in low quality, highly optimized content in search results. If you just go to Google and ask, this makes it harder to find authentic, in-depth information, just like you have provided over the last 10 or 15 minutes here. Commercial bias, ads and sponsors content often dominate the top of the search results page. This can hide relevant organic results, important information. Somebody selling something, they make it sound really sweet. And then as far as search engine optimization, there's overload. Many websites create content to rank high in Google, not to provide the best information. This leads to a formulaic or shallow results. While there is no single publicly released official statistics for the exact percentage of all Google searches that lead to scams, data indicates a significant and growing presence of fraudulent, malicious, or spammy content, particularly within paid search results. Key findings regarding scams in Google search include malicious ads and search traffic. Research indicates that scams often appear in paid sponsored results, with one study finding that 90% of pay-per-click ad campaigns on Google and Bing are affected by click fraud. And 75% of the top monitored brands have experienced impersonation or hijacking in Google search ads. High-risk categories are for certain high-demand services like locksmiths, plumbers, garage door repair. Fraudulent ads can dominate, sometimes resulting up to 60% of the clicks on ads being fraudulent. Prevalence of fraudulent links reports suggest that spammy links and malicious ads are frequently appearing in top results, search results, and some users reporting high percentages of fraudulent results. While security researchers have noted a sharp rise in maladvertising. Google's defense, Google has stated that 90% of the research results are spam-free. However, this refers to organic results, and the company acknowledged that bad actors are constantly evolving to the bypass filters. And there's more on this. This is actually from Google telling you how Google may or may not be reliable. So I think it's important, and I'm glad that we were able to actually go back and address what a professional and the time that it is required to provide the services that we as responsible government representatives provide to our constituents. So thank you for that.
And thank you, Mr. Caius. I'm going to start at the top of my screen. Mr. Gripe, please. I
Thank
see your
you,
hand.
Madam Chair. What Mr. Caius was reading was quite interesting, and I'm a big fan of energy audits. What concerns me about taking $100,000, regardless of whether it's county money or not, I don't think it is, but is what we're going to start to create. And it's that kind of hunger, I think, for, well, I should get some energy audit money and I should get somebody, the county should replace my furnace and stuff like that. I think this could get out of hand real fast. And we're going to start getting people to say, well, I see the county's promoting this. I should go to Google, like Chris was talking about, and I'm going to find somebody to come do an audit. And we need to really think about how this would be presented and how we can stop all the other people when they hear that the county's going to do this is like, awesome. Now we're going to be able to sell these idiots all sorts of stuff. And I'm not saying our constituents are idiots. They're not. But there are people who will take advantage. We really need to think this through to say, how are we going to do this in a healthy manner that doesn't discriminate against people? Saying, well, you should have found out, or you should have known about this, or, this is way bigger than I think we're thinking about. It's not just being helpful and doing energy audits. It's the environment we could create and the problems we could create by not doing this right. So we need to be really careful.
Thank you, Mr. Gripe. Ms. Allen?
I am too far away from this to be as accurate as I should, but we also have through our CDBG programs, I think it's called a community something, where we've had a lot of seniors who have said, I just lost my hot water heater and I don't have a shot. And we are able to connect them with this CDBG money so that they can be checked for, you have to be in a certain income level in order to qualify. And then you have to buy a proper hot water heater and have it installed properly. But fortunately, we are able to offer those services to some of the people who need them most. New furnace, sometimes roof repair. I will try and, we have staff who do this and can explain it much better than I, and I will try and get that organized so that we can have some kind of report on how we are able to reach out to the people who need it most
Thank
with
you.
money we've got that's not coming from taxpayers.
It didn't create a terrible situation, right?
And we would, our program would tie in with the program in Mark's department, correct?
Do we have a process yet for how we will choose the homes, the homeowners?
I think we want to wait to get into the weeds like that for March. So this was
Good.
really just an educational side of things on what a certified energy audit is for today.
Okay, great. I'm going to go to the board here. Mo, please, Mr. Iqbal, please.
Yeah, hi, Madam Chair. First of all, thank you for alerting me to attend this meeting. I appreciate it. It was a good presentation. I have a lot of questions, not heavy questions, but I am not educated on this IRS required certification standards. I don't know how IRS enters into this homeowner energy use. I'm not sure. And number one, then second on, going back to the board resolution or the, board presentation that county was to provide 25 households with this extraordinary audit free of charge. So my question is, who are these 25 people or household that we will be selecting? We have 24 board members, 24 districts, and one Madam Chair who is elected at large. So that makes it 25. That means each district would get one audit. And we don't have one household, we have 8,000 households in almost every district. So 1 out of 8,000 households, we would select one. The question is, how do you select it? If you select me, it would not be proper. I think so. Which of my neighbor would you select? This is a sampling issue, 1 out of 8,000. How would you select? How would you be fair? So I think it is a very meagerly funded program that will create problem right off the start. Constitutional issue, who should get this audit? And number two, why do you go to audit this extraordinary audit when you have the audit, say, I would call quote unquote audit from the ComEd, NICOR, and and maybe HVAC companies. Leaving the outside companies, ComEd and NICOR provides us what is our ratio, our comparison of the energy use vis-a-vis our neighbors. So we should make use of it. And I don't think this program is well funded to go into it. So we should look for a better use. And it was called aggregation. And my question was, how is it aggregating? Picking 1 out of 8,000 is not aggregating, it is segregating. So instead of providing one person with a $4,000, 400 or whatever dollars, provide everybody one caulking tube, and they can use the caulking.
Right, what? I'm having trouble
So that's so there are more issues into this. I think the committee should address them.
Thank you. And that's, so today was the presentation about.
Microphone, please, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Iqbal. So today's program is the aim of our presentation today was just to talk about the quality of an IRS or HUD approved audit so that we could compare the quality of the audits. Next month, we'll be going into the selection of the homes. And I'm thinking of this as a pilot project, trying to see, would that be a good word for this? A pilot project to see how we can approach this and how it works, how the benefits, the cost benefit analysis, as Ms. Wolnick said, and then we can try to get more funds in the future, better, bigger and better grants. Ms. Wolnick.
Yeah, I think it's something we want to address next month when we have all the data pulled together.
Okay, we're working on that for next month, so stay tuned, please.
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Iqbal. Mr. Young, please.
David Young, I wanted to address, I was the one who said, all you have to do is Google it, and then Mr. Caius went ahead and said what he said, but my the reason for saying Google it is that you can actually just go ahead and do a search for companies that will do energy audits. That was what I researched. One of those companies that came up was a company called Comfort First Insulation. And I said this at the last meeting. I guess you guys didn't pay attention or hear me, but it was called Comfort First Insulation out of Rockford, Illinois. I called them. I did not Google anything after that. I got a name, I called them, and they told me that it would cost around $200 for an energy audit if someone was going to show up, and they gave me a list of what they do. That is on their website, a list of what they do for their energy audit. And then they also have something online where you could actually fill a form out online, and then they could provide something for you. Obviously, it's not even close to being an in-person inspection, but that is something that I would request that you guys look at. And then, because now it's again, you could use Google to do a search for someone that could be in St. Charles or Aurora or whoever, but I just found the first one that came up, and it was in Aurora. The other thing that I heard was that we are going to check for gas leaks and all this other stuff. And I think that's very positive. However, I thought the whole reason for doing this was to increase the energy efficiency. Obviously, if someone has a gas leak, it needs to be taken care of. But you start to do a scope creep outside of what your intentions are, which should be to make households more energy efficient. It's just going to cost more and more money and take a lot more time. So that's just something that I think that we should probably address and talk about next month when it comes back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Rock?
Tarver had
Oh, Mr. Tarver.
Thank you. To Mr. Iqbal's question, is there a vision that the committee has to have that selection process? I know that we're probably still a month away, but obviously that's been part of the conversation prior to coming today. I'm just wondering, because I think he brings up some valid points about how do we create an equitable process for our entire county based on 24 board members, or, Aurora versus Elgin, St. Charles, Dundee Township, all of that. I'm just wondering, or is that something we'll wait for March?
If you can wait, that's the point of the March meeting, will be to go into the further details. Is that okay?
I would just add that the intent of the program was to focus on our low to moderate income housing stock. And so if you kind of drill down on that, just as a first broad brush, you're going to eliminate many of the homes in many of the districts. And so how we're going to select versus that, we can bring back next month.
Would that be based on income?
Correct. It's based on income, and those areas are identified in the census tracts.
Ah, the census tracts. Okay, the R3, is that what? Sarah's, are you ready to say something?
Yeah, so we did this for just unincorporated as part of that.
Ah, which eliminates
Yes,
many
exactly.
people. Okay, unincorporated. So thank you for being curious, and I'm curious how we're going to work out the details on this. But I really appreciate your interest, and I believe today's talk really showed what a thorough and high quality audit should be. I don't think we're, Mr. Young, that we're talking scope creep here. I think what we're showing is what a good audit should be. And this is based on IRS, the IRA bill, and HUD was part of this. So this is what a good inspection should be. And I didn't know this a week ago, that it's not just walking through and, you know, maybe checking your light bulbs, checking your lint in your dryer, or I did not know that it was so thorough. But when you're in someone's home, let's talk about health. Let's talk about safety. And when we talk about energy efficiency for these low income people, they're going to save money on their energy bills. So there's many good things happening here. So we just have to get, so we're getting into the weeds on the quality of the audits. Next time we'll get into the weeds on the quality of the program itself. And I'm just loving everybody's comments and help here. Anybody else? Mr. Roth?
I have a couple of things. One, I'm Roth here. Deborah used an acronym, and I think a lot of times you need to define them when you use them. I have no clue what those letters were.
CDBG jumped
Yeah.
into the comment. You wanna, was that it? Yeah.
Community development block grant money.
Okay, and I just recommend we always try to remember that. Not everyone has it
Good one.
memorized. The other thing, I think, Jody, the presentation was good. You got into details. One things you had said last month was part of the fund was to try to bring it, and I'm not going to say the right words probably, but bring it in-house or bring it in. And I'm thinking we need to look in that direction. If this is and we know we have our enterprise investment and stuff. If the enterprise, you know what, Mark, the corporation we formed.
It really is hard to hear up here. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I keep saying what.
All right, that's okay. Well, it's Ted's hat is absorbing all the sounds. I'm kidding, Ted, sorry.
Prize investment.
Right. And we're looking to find good paying jobs. If this is a good job, we should also work with Anita's committee to get people trained. And then, you know, so then we remove the issue of finding fraud on the internet, because then we could publish here are people that are trained in it that the county certifies.
And we are also looking into, Ms. Wolnick and I discussed this at a very high level, the benefits of having one of our own employees do these kind of inspections
Okay.
for the people of Kane County and.
Well, but if
yeah.
we can get the jobs to train people, we're looking for good paying jobs. If this is, and it sounds like it's a good paying job, let's start
that's a
getting
good
people
idea.
trained. And then instead of the county supporting it, you're going to get funding potentially from the feds for jobs creation. And then you're going to be able to serve a lot more than 25 people.
Which is the goal.
Right, exactly. So I think we should take a look in that direction too. It's
Jody-
easy for me to say that, but
I think I've asked this question before, and I don't mean to be a gotcha, but what is our population of incorporated versus unincorporated?
Unincorporated is about 60,000 people.
Yeah.
wow.
So we're not talking 520,000, we're talking 60,000 people. Of which 25 is still too low, but so we will whittle down our population, our possible selection. And but thank you so much for all your attention. We have a lot to talk about. Can we move on?
Yes.
Okay, what's next? Ms. Wolnick, are you still up?
I think it's me, isn't
Okay.
Ms.
Ms. Ryan,
Ryan.
please.
it? Yeah, so I'm a little nervous. I've got 4 presentations, short ones. We'll see if we got through them all. So first, I'm really happy and excited to present the committee here with the 2026 Kane County Green Guide. Before I open the cover here, I guess just a few reminders. So other than my time, which was spent writing the text and working with the graphic designer on placement and just overall layout. None of this project is paid for by general fund or by our traditional enterprise surcharge fund. It's through a grant this year. So, which has helped us do a little bit more with it. We're doing a full Spanish language translation of the Green Guide and having Spanish language hard copies printed as well through the grant fund. We don't have any print copies in English or Spanish yet. They're coming, I promise. The translation has just delayed things a little bit. The other big kind of hurdle we had to get over this year with the Green Guide was the ADA compliance. So after April 27th, everything that goes up on our website PDF-wise is supposed to be compliant with the new WCAG, which that's an acronym that I don't know, I'm sorry. But it's the guidelines for digital compliance. Whether or not this version that you're seeing, it meets that standard depends on who you ask. It passed the designer's internal checks. One of the tools that our IT department is using, it's not passing all of those checks yet. So IT is actually working with the state's attorney's office and some other experts to figure out what is the one standard of truth that we need to have designers meet. Anyway, if it turns out more work is needed on the compliance side, it won't change how this looks at all. It won't make any difference for anyone at all other than people who are using screen readers to access it, which is the whole point. So without further ado, let's jump into the Green Guide. Clearly, it's featuring our new campaign poster boy for the entire region, Loop the recycling cart. On the first page, standard table of contents, but that kind of text up there is talking about Feed the Cart and why we're featuring Loop. Then you see some very kind of standard stuff that's in every edition of the Green Guide. We always talk about our recycling centers. These images, especially this one, was put in, excuse me, at the recommendation of Village of West Dundee. They have a lot of, so this is the West Dundee Department of Public Works. They have a lot of people that park right here, walk in the door and say, I want to recycle my printer. And they're like, oh no, you really have to drive behind the building. It doesn't help that the address is on this road here. So just trying to help people wayfind by themselves a little bit more to decrease their frustration at having to get back in their car and pull around. So yeah, we have a lot of QR codes in this that mostly go to the county's website so that people can read the directions as well. And understand fully what these sites take, because we're very space limited here. We can only summarize, right? We take household electronics. Well, what is that? I have this super flux capacitor. Is that a household electronic or not? Kind of thing. So we have all that information on the website. And then we always want to highlight, it's a lot easier for us to list out more comprehensively the stuff we don't take than the stuff we do. So we kind of put that out here. We put in some little fun profiles of our staff at the sites. I think it helps people. It's certainly not for me. It's more for the folks working out there day after day, just to remind people, these are our neighbors. These are, it's not always a fun job. They're not always the happiest, always, if it's freezing cold and snowing, but they're human beings. So please be nice. And we're always encouraging them to be nice to our guests as well. Of course, information about the recycling events. We have a lot going on this year. I'll have a little bit more about one a little later. Lots and lots of events. Household hazardous waste. That's one of those things. It can't go in your recycling cart. It shouldn't really go in your trash cart either. So what do you do with it? Highlighting the programs the county supports to help properly dispose of household hazardous waste, including the Naperville drop-off site, and then our home collection program, which is primarily for the northern part of the county. And then other options too. Some cities include some household hazardous waste service, in Elgin being the most notable by population anyway. So just putting that information out too. How do you access your city's services? So this is kind of coupled with household hazardous waste. Wanted to highlight the new programs and available drop-offs for paint and batteries. Certainly, we're talking more about batteries in a moment. And then this, you're gonna have to envision it because, right, this is a book in physical that you're kind of opening like this. So this is the centerfold. This is the left-hand side of the centerfold. And it's replacing that kind of state poster of the yes and no's. This is the yes side, reminding people what you can recycle in a standard recycling program, whether you have a cart that's picked up outside your house, or if you're in an apartment building and have a recycling dumpster. These are the things we should be putting in. And then of course, on the other side, these are the no's. No thanks, they give loop cart burn. Some of them just patently aren't recyclable. Some of them need special handling for recycling, and some of them just make a mess like shredded paper. We also really wanted to highlight the work we've done with Recycle Coach, especially on this page. So Recycle Coach, again, is an app and a web tool that you can type pretty much anything into that search in the What Goes Where tool and find out how to dispose of it best. So anything on this page, shredded paper, medical sharps, batteries, plastic bags, you can type in there and figure out what to do with it. Talks a little bit more about both of those projects. So In the Loop with Loop is obviously about the Feed the Cart campaign in a little bit more detail, and then encouraging people to use Recycle Coach. Again, these are things that the county has not paid for, which is always great. the In the Loop with Loop, that was a federal EPA grant. And then Recycle Coach is being offered to all local governments through IEPA. So this is my least favorite part because it's just a long list, but it's an A to Z of for people that really rely on the paper guide and are never going to use a mobile app. We do this A to Z list of items that are sometimes considered hard to recycle, so people can look up what they're dealing with and hopefully find a good solution. I don't think there's anything super duper exciting in here. We always have a page. It's actually part of our work on MS4, that's municipal separate stormwater sewer systems. So we do education and outreach for MS4. So we always have some stormwater and water conservation information in the Green Guide under the Sistine Kane heading. And we also have some of our work on climate action and energy conservation. This is talking about available NICOR rebates. I think there's a blurb about the weatherization for farmers program in here as well. We're getting towards the end of the Green Guide here. We always include hauler contact information by town. So if someone needs help with, replacing a recycling cart or just starting service, ending service, that's who they call. I put a little blurb about mail-in recycling. It's something I get asked about from time to time. These are companies and providers like TerraCycle. They catch additional interest because they have the facility in Aurora, obviously, and that they're also the largest company doing that in the country. Ridwell is another one, slightly smaller. I might be doing a presentation only about these, just a little bit more about what they are in the future. Green Disc is specialized for CDs, DVDs, that kind of thing. And that is our Green Guide. Any questions, comments, immediate reactions? Talk about it.
Okay.
Just one quick question.
Mr. Ross?
How many pages is it?
16, including the front and back.
16?
Yes.
1/6 or?
16.
I guess my experience with doing publications, if it gets too long, People will glance at it, then it goes in hopefully recycle. You know, doing the smaller ones with links to get to the more detail makes it also less cluttered. Not everyone's comfortable clicking on links, and even QR codes. A lot of seniors have issues, but it would cut down at least maybe. And there again, I think it was what you put together is great. But we had to look at the audience, and I would even suggest you talk to Julie Mann on communicate, what's the best way to communicate? Because she's very experienced in that.
Yeah, so just.
I have no problem with issuing it, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
long term.
Answer that one, please.
Yeah.
When I hand out the green guides at, say, National Night Out, which I've done,
Right.
people are so excited to get it.
Right.
I like to stick it on a thumbtack or something like that, because you don't always want to run to your computer. So I think, and are you still going to print out a card, just like the postcard size? Yours have something.
Postcard will be next year. We kind of alternate them usually.
Oh, so next year you don't print so many of the green guides, you just print an update.
And just one follow-up. Most of the young people don't go to their computer. It's on the phone, and everyone has their phones with them all the time. And that's the direction, social media is going.
It's an app too, right?
Yeah.
Well, literally everything in the green guide is on our website. So I think people that are really phone oriented are just going to use the website. They won't use the green guide at all, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
I was saying.
Yeah.
No, I think it looks good.
I would say just the front and back cover too don't actually have any content on them. So maybe 14 is a more accurate page number of stuff that people might actually have to read.
No, I think it's a good job.
Thank
Claire.
you.
Thank you.
I'm old school. I mean, I do use my phone more than most people probably do, but I still have the green guide from 2 years ago that I still go to for research on what I need to do as far as recycling. So I think this is I can't wait to get my hands on it because I just love it. So, thank you.
And once you have the new green guide, you can recycle the old one.
And we've got to keep moving along.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch up from Ms. Lewis. Okay, but I don't want to cut off anybody. Good,
Okay.
good, go. Okay.
We're going to talk briefly about composting. So this is an update on our USDA grant project. It should be pretty short. So just a reminder about what this grant is. We are working on piloting food waste composting at multiple large institutions. We're going to try and pilot public food scrap drop-off at the Fabian Recycling Center. Grow a culture of composting in Kane County through outreach and education, specifically on composting and food waste diversion opportunities, and then improve small grower access to finished compost. I guess I'll just spoiler myself. The one where we've made the most progress so far is goal 1. And that's where I've got exciting news. So the 4 institutions we're working with are our own AJC, Advocate Health at Sherman Hospital in Elgin, the Northern Illinois Food Bank, and then the Cougar Stadium. I've got check marks there next to the food bank and Sherman Hospital because they are the ones that as of today are actually doing this. They're diverting their food waste and have started reporting their activity to me under the grant.
Congratulations on that, Claire. Wow.
Yeah. So we have actually a numeric goal we're supposed to hit from these large institutions, which was to divert 2.1 million pounds of food that would otherwise be landfilled. And we're going to knock that out of the park because I've only gotten data so far from the food bank, but they've told me they've diverted close to 900,000 pounds of food between March and November. So another way of looking at that is that we're 42% of our way to that 2.1 million pound goal in only 35% of the project timeline. So by the time we get all the way through the project, it's going to be a lot more than 2 million pounds. Just as well, I put this photo in here so that we kind of understand what diversion is, especially for the food bank, which is going to dominate that material. is going to this facility. This is called Green Era. It's located south of downtown Chicago, as you can kind of see in this picture. This is basically an intake center here. They've got a whole industrial operation inside of depackaging food waste, which is absolutely critical for the food bank. They have augers and crushers and extruders that can take food out of a can, out of a bottle, out of a box, out of anything you want to put it in. They turn it into a slurry, which must smell delightful. And then it's fed through a tube into these big tanks. You can just see behind the building. This is an anaerobic digester that digests pretty much only food. They don't take municipal solid waste, or they don't take municipal solid waste. They don't take wastewater, and they don't take agricultural material. So it's just food waste going into those tanks and turning into digestate and renewable natural gas. And I think we may have Green Era come and present. So I'm just going to flash through these because we haven't gotten really too far ahead on any of these, but we are planning to do public drop off at Fabian. I need to double check with purchasing, but to get this going faster, I may end up bidding it separately from the AJC if I can get away with it and not break any rules. So looking at that, getting it started soon. We want to have at least 2,000 uses of the drop off while it's open and compost about 9,000 pounds of food waste at that site. The outreach needs to be going along with this in order to get people to use our drop off site or to compost in general. We just need to get the word out there that it's available or other options that they could use if Fabian isn't particularly convenient. And then the fourth goal is going to be to work with our development department, probably specifically Matt Tansley, on getting finished compost out to community gardens and small producers. And we just haven't done too much on that. So just a reminder of where we are in timeline and budget. The federal budget for the project is close to $400,000. So far, we've spent 67 and change. That's just through the end of activity through last fiscal year. So we're at about 17% spend, a little bit better on the match side. So we had about $99,000 in non-federal matching effort. We've documented over half of that. That was through the food bank primarily. So we're a little bit behind timeline. There are some delays related to the federal transition of administration. So our start date for the grant was March 1st, but we didn't actually have access to the funding or know for sure we would be getting access to the funding until mid-June. So we just started behind. Like, it would not have been possible to get this project going with the Cougars with a June start date. That's the middle of their season. And then also I don't actually know this, but the AJC kitchen has been closed for a while. They're doing a complete remodel, getting new equipment in there.
What's AJC?
Oh, Adult Justice Center. So these are just things that have delayed certain aspects of the project. So my plan is to request a 1-year no-cost extension from USDA. My understanding is that it shouldn't be a big deal. Other just recycling news that may be of interest to the committee. We have our first large recycling event on February 28th. I've been getting a lot of calls about it, so it should be a big deal. That'll be at the courthouse at 540 South Randall Road. I'm taking a bit of a gamble. I'm combining document shredding with electronics collection. Those are both very, very popular programs. We do the electronics 5 days a week at Fabian, but some people just love coming out on a Saturday. So I think it'll be pretty busy. We're gonna have the bicycle collection through Hesed House. The county through my program is gonna be doing recycling of batteries, fluorescent bulbs, and styrofoam. All of that is gonna be cost-free. And then we'll have aerosols, small compressed gas, and child car seats and other gear. So it'll be exciting. Please be there. On the batteries, we are now recycling batteries officially at Fabian Parkway and at Government Center. That's on the first floor, just outside the glass door to our hallway. How I've kind of explained it is we're asking people if they have more than about 24 batteries to please take them to Fabian. But if it's, you know, just a handful or a small bag, put them in the box, or either one is available to them. These are the drums that we're shipping batteries in. This showed up at the courthouse and they were a little taken aback. Like, what is this? Yeah. So I guess a spoiler, expect a resolution next month related to we can be getting paid for these batteries to the tune of 20 cents a pound. So
I bet those weigh a lot.
Yeah, well, the weight of the drum doesn't count, but batteries do weigh a lot. We might collect more than a ton just at the event on Saturday.
A little math
So
here.
yeah. And then I am looking at is always popular with our group here, campaign sign recycling after the primary election. I don't have a date yet, but it's usually like the week after to give people time to clean up. And we usually have a container available for several days. So I imagine that will be what we'll do again. And that's it for my grant update and program update.
Okay. Questions?
Questions,
Gotta
concerns?
keep moving on. Miss
Okay.
Allen?
Alan, just a tiny comment. I go to neighborhood groups around my area, and it was just surprising, maybe because it's spring, that people were saying, can't wait for the organic pickup to start again. Otherwise, I have stuff frozen in my bin and I can't wait to get it. So if anything, people are using it and just wishing they had even more access.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I have my own compost bin, so maybe I'll take it anyway, just for the
Yeah.
fun of it. Okay,
Cool.
Miss Ryan?
All right, and now I have a couple of resolutions. Can we go to the slide attachment for the first one? Hopefully that's easy to find. But while Blair is finding that, very fast. So this is House Bill 5112, which is shorthand the Carryout Bag Reduction Act. So this would be a fee on all carryout bags at checkout, and I'll explain it just a little bit more in a moment, but really quick, why would government be involved in plastic bags or carryout bags at all? So the estimate is that Americans use roughly 292 plastic bags each every year. So if you scale that to Kane County, it's 152 million bags per year. Plastic bags cause environmental problems. They're very mobile. Even if people put them in the trash bin, they often blow out. They end up tangling up with wildlife. They can tangle in farm and lawn care equipment. I've had phone calls from farmers that are concerned that they're actually tilling plastic bags into their fields. We know that in the environment, these bags break down over time into little microplastic fragments. The health implications of that is not entirely clear, but the likelihood is that some of these microplastics are showing up in our food. They're very hard to recycle and they're not commonly recycled. The estimates are all over the place, but somewhere between 3 and 10% of all single-use plastic bags are ever recycled. In Kane County, that recycling would be done through grocery store chains. They tend to be kind of downcycled into plastic composite lumber. But that's it's better than the landfill. Paper carryout bags are biodegradable. They're highly recyclable, but they have a much larger production footprint than plastic bags. They take about 10 times the amount of energy to make a paper bag than a plastic bag. And they're kind of seen as an unnecessary evil by some people due to the availability and low cost of reusable bags. So what this bill would do, starting in 2027, retail and mercantile establishments statewide would all have to charge a fee for each carryout bag provided new at checkout. This would be plastic bags, paper bags, and even reusable bags. The first time you use it, that you get it from the store, you're going to pay for the bag itself, and then you're going to pay the fee on it. The fee starts at 10 cents per bag in 2027 and increases by 5 cents every year through 2030, and then actually in perpetuity until data indicates that a 90% reduction in bags used compared to the 2027 data is achieved. And the Illinois Department of Revenue would be required to report how many bags are sold and what the revenue is annually. The fee revenues are supposed to be split as follows. So 20% of the fee would stay with the retailer, 20% would go to the county in which the bag was sold, and 60% will go to the state. So I did a better job in the intro to the resolution, but we could expect in Kane County, it really depends on what you suppose that number of bags per person is. But it would be somewhere between $1 and $3 million, likely in Kane County in 2027. But that $3 million is based on that 292 bags per person. But it could be lower, so 1 to 3 million. In the bill, county usage of the bag fee is limited to activities related to your solid waste management plan. But that could be used to offset personnel expenses that are currently covered by the general funds. It could free up riverboat funds for other uses, and just generally improve what we're able to do with our solid waste programs in the county. Consumers can always avoid the fee by bringing a bag or going bagless when shopping. So, it's not a tax across the board that everyone is going to have to pay, because you can avoid it every time you choose to go shopping. And then this isn't relevant to the county, but there are municipalities with ordinances that would eventually be superseded. Just a few exemptions to be aware of. Restaurants across the board are exempted, so they would not be charging the fees and could use whatever bags they want. There's no right now de minimis size for retail establishments, so this would impact supermarkets and small like mom and pop shops equally. Various bags are excluded. And then online orders is actually very confusing how they did it. But like when an order is packed for pickup by staff of the store, they don't have to charge the fees on them. But it would impact, I think, third-party delivery orders. So we did have some comments to improve the bill. I don't think the fee should be applied to reusable bags, even when they're being bought for the first time. I think there should be a de minimis to minimize the impact on small businesses. There's a number of ways that could look. It could be based on gross receipts. It could be based on the size of the store. It doesn't, to me, matter so much as long as they manage to carve out some of the smallest retailers. And then the language around online orders is just confusing. So I made some comments there.
What's EWR?
Environmental and water resources.
Oh,
So that's basically staff, sorry,
okay.
staff comments on the bill. So the resolution then is for the county to support passage of House Bill 5112 with these comments in mind. And yeah, could we bring up the resolution?
okay.
There she is.
Claire, I would note too that our intent is to go to legislative committee if it passes through this committee.
Yes.
It's the pathway. If can we go down one page, please? Or where's the executive summary?
Yeah, there's no way to change that. It's a field in there that we can't edit, but we do have it keyed up for legislative committee. So it would go environmental water resource or in the E&E committee, legislative, exec, county board for both of these resolutions.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, and legislative is special this month and it's coming up soon. I can't remember the date. Okay. Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to discuss this resolution TMP 26-235 supporting HB 5112 to reduce the use of non-reusable carryout bags.
Caius move.
Caius.
Alan seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Okay, questions, concerns, details? Yes.
Do you have any idea? I mean,
Mike, please.
I'm sorry. As far as like what other states are doing, I know like in Maine, for example, just, from personal experience, do we have any idea what other states are doing?
Yeah, so the states have addressed this are primarily on the East Coast and the West Coast. At this point, no other state has a statewide bag fee. They've all gone, ones that have addressed this at the state level have just banned plastic bags. Some still have a fee on paper bags. That's where other states have gone that have addressed this.
Okay.
Mr. Tarver, please.
I'd like additional clarification regarding a municipality that is already implementing that. If I saw that correctly in the slide, it says that that's going to be 2030. Does that mean that that would be a double charge for those municipalities that are already incurring that cost on the plastic fees?
I think what would happen is that the municipality would charge the fee, be able to charge the fee through 2030, and then it would roll over into the state bill. So essentially the municipalities would have to wind down their programs by the end of 2030.
So they wouldn't adapt both. They would only, the one that would benefit the city specifically until 2030, and then would adapt the statewide?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Mr. Young next, please.
Hi, David Young. I think when you look at this, and now you're going to be essentially taxing the people that do their shopping at grocery stores. It's going to be another tax. We already passed a grocery tax that I was against last fall. Here is another tax, and I know this has nothing to do with the Kane County Board adding another tax, but here the Kane County Board is actually supporting it, and I don't want to support this. I think that there should be other ways of recycling, and I know that Jewel at one time you could bring your bags to them. I don't know if that's still available, but we should look
It's
into
still
other-
available.
Okay, then we should look into other people there should be other drop-offs where you could drop off these bags. It's very convenient, it's low cost, but now we're gonna just be adding another tax to the taxpayer, and I disagree with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Caius.
Caius here. Yeah, I think you're right. Some of the changes that are potential, I think it's good to look at all of the ramifications, but I think we should move it along so that we can at least have the discussion in legislative. I think even it's actually almost more appropriate there because they have a tap into what's going on with the state. So,
We wanted to start this in legislative, but for legislative got canceled.
I see. Yeah.
Okay.
So just for
So
discussion,
we
if
just
nothing else.
flip that a little
Yeah.
bit, but
Yeah.
it's definitely going to go to legislative next. May I ask for a vote? Oops,
Just-
Ms. Ellen.
I just have to toss this in. I walk around my neighborhood, I pick up litter, and the bags are just everywhere.
Mhm.
I love my fellow humans, but I don't know how to get them to do some things that they would normally do that their moms would tell them to do. Except sometimes we have to say, well, if you're going to do it, then you're going to pay for it. I don't mean to be punitive. I don't want us to be a punitive government, but I'm not sure how to get people to think about this as they toss it out their window and it gets in the tree and it gets in our food chain. And that's just really scary. So like clean air and clean water, let's try and clean up the food chain a little.
Here, here. I'm gonna get my 2 cents worth in. When Kiwanis does our cleanup days along the river, bags are everywhere, just everywhere. It's like a slime on the earth.
In the trees and the
In the
bushes.
trees. I drive up and down Randall Road to get here, and for 10 years, the same bag. It's a black bag, has been disintegrating in a tree that I have to go past. Years and years, this stuff does not go away. Okay, can we vote? Is that all right?
Alan,
Alan, I.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Genesis,
Genesis, yes.
Young,
No.
Carver.
Can I ask a point of clarification?
Yes.
I apologize. I just want to make sure because the city I represent already has that fee. I might have missed it in the current state. So I'm in favor of passing this along legislative, but I am concerned with how it's going to affect the city that I already represent.
Okay.
So I will vote yes to move this along to legislative, which I appreciate for that part of the process. But I am concerned regarding that piece of it.
Good. Okay, thank you very much.
Bates.
Are we done? Oh, Bates, yes.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Ms. Ryan?
Oh boy. Okay. So I think I have another resolution here. A few slides again, just to explain what is similar to the last one where I'm asking the board to consider supporting a piece of state legislation. This is Senate Bill 2852. Is amendments to the Illinois Environmental Protection Act that address food waste. So again, just the why. There's a lot of wasted food. USDA estimates something like 30 to 40% of all the food put out there for human consumption ends up being wasted. We know that it makes up about 17.5% of landfill material. We're not going to be able to reach the goals set out in our own solid waste management plan or in our climate action implementation plan unless we can address how food waste is handled. I'll leave it at that. I did want to just point out this graphic. It was released by US EPA, I think 2 years ago. It's a hierarchy of how you handle food waste. The best that you can possibly do is prevent it from happening to, get your supply to actually match your demand a little better. Then donation, then feeding it to animals, then composting or anaerobic digestion, with beneficial use of the products from that. And then landfill is by far the least desirable. So just the structure of what this bill does, it establishes that hierarchy I just talked about as state policy. It would require that certain types of Kane County businesses that generate significant food waste divert that waste from landfills according to that hierarchy. So I listed out the business types. It's grocery stores, restaurants. I'm not going to go down the whole list, but basically large facilities that work with food. I would just point out that in terms of county-owned facilities, correctional facilities aren't in here. So there's no mandate, for example, that our correctional facilities would always be doing this. A little bit more about the structure. So the date that businesses have to comply is based on the county population and also on the footprint of the business. So the first are going to be over 40,000 square feet by July 1st of 2028. And then you can see it ratchets down all the way to a minimum of 1,000 square feet by 2031. Those types of businesses would need to start diverting that food waste. There's a requirement that certain public entities, including state and local entities and Kane County and its municipalities, would have to buy and use, or either use themselves or give away compost based on their population. I didn't put this on the slide and I'm kicking myself, but this part doesn't kick in until 2033. So it's not immediate. In the bill, it's 0.025 cubic yards of compost per resident per year. The county would only be responsible for the unincorporated population. So we talked that 60,000, 15,000 cubic yards per year. There would be a cost of between $50,000 and $65,000 per year. We would have some time to work with building management and other departments to figure out if there's ways those costs could be offset with other landscaping materials that are already being used. So just point that out. And then there's a grant program also written into the bill. these are the staff comments again. This is, so I think there should probably be some sort of payment in lieu system for the compost purchase. It was not so much Kane County, but like, you're gonna have really high, like highly developed, high population areas. They're gonna have to buy a lot of compost, and where are they gonna put it? If it's very dense development. That was my thought there. I think the business footprint thresholds should only be based on the food production and consumption area rather than the total business footprint. It's going to get really weird for things like hospitals and like golf courses if you're including the entire footprint. It doesn't make much sense to me. And then I think the grant program should include some ability to research the presence of polyfluorinated alkalized substances, PFAS forever chemicals in compost and digestate. And that was the little presentation. And then there's a resolution that the
Okay, can we have the resolution brought up, please? Thank you very much. May I have a motion and a second for resolution number TMP 26-239, supporting Senate Bill 2852 to improve management of wasted food.
Genesis will move.
Second. Mr. Pennises? Anybody didn't get a turn yet? Mr. Tarver?
Uh,
Are you seconding?
no, I thought he already seconded it.
Chris.
First, second, Kai's first. Oh,
Dennis is
Dennis
first,
is
me
second.
second, doesn't make any difference.
yeah, it's not a race. Okay. Mr. Tarver?
Thank you. Similarly to the last resolution, is this going through legislative as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
So this is to bump it up to legislative. Ms. Allen?
Do we have any information yet on how, let's see, because this is new and the sources are going to be groceries and restaurants, probably largely, do we have a way to assess that that material is safe enough to go on to gardens and so on? That business at the end of your presentation about how we'd like to have research to know that we're able to pull most of the nasty stuff out before we return it to the soil. Do you have any information on that?
So yeah, I mean, usually when they're talking about safety of compost, it's mostly like the biological community in there.
Yeah.
The PFAS thing is interesting. It does show up from time to time in compost and digestate, but usually the sources are identified in digestate. It's usually from sewage, which hopefully the food waste diversion and sewage diversion would not be handled by the same facilities.
Okay.
There's also the packaging, compostable packaging, and PFAS is a big deal. So there needs to be more research on it. That's kind of where that is. But I think for the most part, the food is considered safe to compost and to digest.
And I have a follow-up, if that's okay, Madam Chairman.
Yes, please go ahead.
I can remember that there was a push to take used oil from restaurants and turn it into, I think, motor fuel.
Biodiesel, yeah.
Do you remember that? And did it work?
It did work. Yeah.
It's currently done. There's services that go out to the restaurants and pick it up.
But your car has to be changed.
No, she's talking about oil from the restaurants, right?
Yeah.
The grease.
Biodiesel.
That's recycled now.
What's it used for? It's not used
Not
as
in that
gasoline.
business, so I don't want to
Okay.
spread hearsay.
Loyola University has a great program. They turn it into their fuel that runs their buses.
That's
and
what I
also
thought.
their
It was
soap.
used as fuel. Their
Yes.
soap? Okay.
Yep.
And she didn't Google that. We have an expert. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Question. I'm sorry, I was out of the room when you did the last resolution, but the comment about it going to legislative,
Your name, please.
Shepro, sorry, State's Attorney's Office. What was done with respect to the previous resolution as far as getting it to legislative?
It has passed this committee and will be sent to legislative.
Okay, because normally legislative will not meet unless there's a special meeting before the next board meeting or executive, right? So in the normal course, my understanding is that this resolution would go to the executive committee agenda.
Go
There's a
ahead.
special legislative committee meeting, and we are putting it on the agenda. We'll fix that in Legistar.
Okay, I would just suggest then that the motion, if not included, should state that this committee is sending it to the legislative committee for further action.
Would we add it to the whereas, the now?
No, no, I think that's just what you passed a resolution supporting the bill. And I think that the proper procedure then would be that action would be then referred to the legislative committee for further action.
Thank
So
you.
if you would amend the previous resolution and then incorporate that into the motion that was made here, then you've satisfied, I think, the committee flow question.
Where would we put that? That
I would
amendment?
just say that the motion was to approve or the resolution supporting both C and D, with the proviso that the committee action be then sent to the legislative committee for further action.
It's in the motion.
Yeah.
Okay,
Madam Chairman,
yes, ma'am.
the special legislative committee meeting is currently scheduled for February 26th at 2.
Okay. Would you like to motion that well, let's start with the one we're on right now. Ms. Allen, would you like to motion?
This is Caius, but not to interrupt exactly, but I would change my second to include that. A friendly,
If Mr. Pennis
Pennis were to
and
do that, we're
Mr.
just-
Caius would then
Thank you.
simply adopt that as a friendly.
I would
revision.
adopt that, so we
Okay.
don't have to, we can just go ahead and vote.
Mr. State's Attorney, are you, SAO, are you satisfied with that?
Yes.
Okay, then let's take the roll call for this one and then we'll go back to the last. one. Thank you, clerk.
Allen,
Ellen, I.
Caius,
Guys, yes?
Genesis,
Genesis, yes.
Young,
Point of order, is this for the accepting this resolution? Or are we talking about accepting the moving it to legislation after this has been?
Yeah, this will, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand before, Mr. Young. This was our motion, our approval of this motion today will move it forward to legislative.
Okay, because I had a comment and a question. I don't know if that is appropriate now, though, since you missed my hand.
Well, since I
Is
missed
it-
your hand, please go ahead. I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but go ahead.
Well, I want to make sure it's appropriate. Is it okay, State's Attorney, to do that?
That would be a point of information and you would be able to make that request.
Okay. as a-
Mr. Young, I accept your point of information.
Thank you. As a point of information, I wanted to ask about like Costco or Sam's Club, where they're doing massive amounts of like, let's just talk about ground beef, right? And they're creating ground beef. They have the machines and then they create the ground beef. If what I'm hearing, and I haven't, it's what I'm hearing is that they will be needing to have less waste. And if they do not have less waste, then they're going to have to do that. They're going to have a compost. And how much is that going to cost someone like that to have a compost if they're producing the same amount of waste that they're producing today? And I don't know if anyone has an answer to that, but that was my question that I wanted to answer. If any-
Yeah, I get,
Brian?
so they're not going to be composting on site. They'd be paying another company to take the food either to a food bank or to be composted. So like right now, for example, Jewel works really closely with the Northern Illinois Food Bank. So they send their unsellable food to the food bank. And the cost to them is probably the cost of trucking it. I have no idea what that cost is.
Okay.
But it's not, at least from our stores, it's not going too far. But
Well, they're already
yeah.
doing it. It sounds like it's being done almost already.
Yeah, the largest institution, so Walmart also does it. They don't do food bank. They send theirs directly to Green Era. So the largest players, a lot of them are doing it under their own environmental and social governance rules.
Okay.
But I don't have a comprehensive list of who is and who isn't.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, please take
And we-
over.
Okay, Young,
No.
Carver,
Yes.
Bates.
Bates, yes. Okay, that will go through to the legislative. Now we need to back up to the last resolution and amend the motion. Who moved and seconded on that last?
What's the procedure for that? Is to recall it? Was it somebody in favor of it or somebody against it? Okay, well, Caius will move to reconsider that particular resolution then.
And do you want to add the part about sending it to the?
No, we got to we'll have to bring it up first.
I'll second.
Okay, all in
And then-
favor, okay, clerk, please take the roll on reconsidering the motion on House Bill 5112.
Allen,
Alan, I.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Hennessis,
Hennessis, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Carver,
Yes.
Bates.
Bates, yes.
Then would it be appropriate, Madam Chair, okay, that to move that we amend this, that we're going to send it off to legislative? What he said.
Okay.
Second.
What he said. Okay, please take the roll.
Allen,
Alan, I.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Hennessis,
Hennessis, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Carver,
Yes.
Bates.
Bates, yes.
Passes.
Excellent. That was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to hear it, and you did all the real work. I think you're done, right? Ms. Hinshaw, please.
Good morning. Due to the time that we have right now, I think we will postpone this till next meeting.
Well, how kind of you. Okay, state and utility incentives, post IRA landscape. Thank you. Sorry, we didn't get to your, you'll be first next time. Okay, let's see. Do I have any comments? Just thank you once again to my our fantastic team, our fantastic committee for all your work, and I'll see you next month. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Reports on file?
What you
Madam
call?
Chair, I would,
Reports on file?
Mrs. Caius, I would ask for a unanimous consent to place the reports on file.
And any concerns, consent? Okay, thank you. Mr. Prentice,
I move to adjourn.
second? I'll second it.
Aye.
Bates, all in favor?